Sa Facebook ko, wag mo sa kanong video na mo. So mi are mare ko na mi film mo sem. Now ang black crime lo kumul ba parap so usual man use keli sa tokpisin staff of general. So you may probably need lo RM all man staff la country to all foreign citizen staff a country where you may kata staff so what is an effective country pa. Mi tidilo sab serif samba tots lo mi lo ibla so. This is like are bito to. Lalu Slovenia ro kama, wala issue lo Facebook ang kama. Display issue lo Facebook. Na concerning Prime Minister James Marape 1 bit. Osem so, nato manto James Marape. But it was all man sa lugi we get some media release be come out ICT director made them writing on the media release. Na all police minister wogel na police minister tu right on pla press media release na to sem all work on the ICT so to president kan sem staff na melos la ICT boss na police minister true ba to ko na lugo press release sem staff na ipol mag lo to marape all the time James Marape I think meri bitu karin pini lo side road ba ito marape na lo gausi close to lam tu ya marape wogil lemya am tong po planning coffee o planim copra, o planim oil palm, nem pudi mo ministry staff. So was you go back lo place you go plani ama sekta coffee na. You go lo Facebook na to sa marabe mi planim coffee finish le me. Magada we. You go right lo companies la kay. Pangu pati ito. Plani coffee na mi plani coffee na magat mi we. Plani oil palm na mi plani na magat mi we. Kay company lo sem from there. Mi na boy lo marabe tu, mi boy lo PNG, mi rested PNG party mi member in sa party ya. Boy lo mi pitoni lo election. Probably less le, mo trust him membership no kim ko James Marabe. People mama bingo play tambourine lo parliament ya abin flag la. Mi pa lulu staff. Ni pa don God give la ni ko pray lo parliament ya so no go complain. Oke lo wala sa di bayo na kaya now. It's na Facebook issue ya. Na issue lo mi lo illegal man. Give me all unregistered Facebook user. Kapman now ni lo alo in Facebook lo mangket NID, resti mo kota mangket NID lo. Use sa application na. Now, table mama lo boy mangket. M2 operating Facebook. O school pili tu, sleep in sa room na asking flash card lo suka dari staff. Imit sa wana sa ni Facebook lo ko staff. 90% lo pabuni yo ko abuse sa Facebook. Awesome so police minister na ICT boss ya. Ola tra monitoring because of the new terrorism act kama. Now, this people man sakay plate rice anta pe olugo sa plate rice lo la no ka tipis tapantap so come down limo grassroots mana o gimlo popcorn para bo so you to lolo lo beni mo strike sta. Baik laksim gamman ya katres lo gammas ta baik sim bullet natin. Bullet mo gammas ta. Lo anem black Wednesday ya all people pen no sta. You want black cartoon second cloud you go parap na to. James Marape Facebook so bibla strike staff. You maxim skill pen na. Wana sa di woki me illegal. Marape to go back lo place. Agriculture pudem do bibla. You must okay wana sa di woki lo illegal level bilo sabdis la country. You go on the president of the United States name John F. Kennedy. John Fitzgibbon Fraser Kennedy be talk. You must okay wana sa di level lo country bilo you lili man woki lo sabdin big lo man. No ga di mo lo complain yet. You let's to James Marape na pango party. 2027 sana blo polling booth bli ya lo one outline bli na no go give pangu you give pangu finish now you complain lo wana sana staff imi complain lo wana sana wait in 2027 na remember on country tu lo big plan mane lo go ganin do lili mana imi to na country na sing tu wana ba blo sing you look at some 5 on it. You are too lazy. You let's no market. You let's no support. Rando house lo 1 talk, 2 talk family. Tambulan pull up misal house one work na putting pressure lo family rice plate na la stuff. And you lost look no line na. By black complain over the boss. No ka money solo ko. Less man so complain. Empty drums are parap. So no ka parap nanti. Compare lo lili apa ground customer len pull up go planning oil palm coffee. Coconuts, walking money lo promise you. Kan pulablo mospina oke planti parabna benimo propagandis kan man also milos to koli name ball. Ibla say ibla usai tu. You see media lo barmo leader God mandate na people mandate him them. Tan people irosi mandate blo 27 and God to barosi mandate blo nem. Ibla ogato church pastana. Ogato hallelujah mamaya. Ta marape winning time ibla ogata kolo PNG me independent na sinsin na all in Bible ibla place ta ba. Na ibla pray lo wana chandi. No complain. And God mag Islam man. You blood me talk, you pastor me talk. Plan your video record me pastor. Now you talk one again. Possible most when waiting 27 local. Man local walk, glare walk.
In borrowings. That took the total borrowing of the Marape government to 37 billion kina since 2019, increasing our national debt to 62 billion kina. Honourable question by the Honourable Member for North Fly was how were the departments funded? Last year, notwithstanding revenue shortfalls with respect to non-tax revenue performance, this government, the Marape government, borrowed 3.983, almost 4 billion kina in borrowings. That took the total borrowing of the Marape government to 37 billion kina since 2019, increasing our national debt to 62 billion kina. These are massive, whopping amounts of debt and borrowing. So what happened to this 4 billion kina that was borrowed, and why weren't these commitments by ministers honoured for the member for North Fly and his district? Thank you, Acting Speaker.
Mr. Prime Minister.
Madam Acting Speaker, a very good question, supplementary question rather, from the learned Deputy Opposition Leader. If we all understand budgeting, the 3.9 billion as he said it, is part of the overall financing framework for 2024. This government is very disciplined. Our focus in fiscal consolidation remains. Fiscal consolidation, me like making talk pisin because all man very long stop outside to all need lo haram display. There's plenty time you me making talk English, some of the time fancy too much. All man very lo place only no kissing talk pisin good. Fiscal consolidation, I mean him also last 5 years, people focus on bringing back budget limit come back long surplus or balanced budget by 2027. And so time people like kissing government, people go first in focus at first, and our key focus was restructure of our economy and the fiscal position people are inheriting. In 2018 or 2019 rather, as we took office, our finances were very, very weak. When you look at the actual numbers may give you a 62 billion kina figure in terms of debt. But percentage is the key. Percentage to economy. Percentage to the size of the economy. The debt that we took, the actual kina may sound big. 3 billion kina, 2 billion kina, 4 billion kina. But when you stack it up against the size of the economy, we are still reducing back. Debt to GDP globally is above 80%. Most economies have a debt to GDP above 80%. Our country's debt to GDP has now fallen below 50% for the first time in the last 6 years, if I could put it this way. Now, why 6 years? I'm not comparing the O'Neill government's time in office. That belongs to that era. When he took office in 2019, the finances were even bad. We had to restructure the economy. The restructure the economy takes some time. You have to borrow cheaply to pay off expensive, heavy debts of the past. That was something we had to do also. And so once we were restructuring the economy, the once in 100 years COVID-19 hit us. Globally speaking, Madam Deputy Speaker, Assistant Speaker, you look, all economies, all countries went on borrowing. You will ask me, I'm replying this in a long way, Madam Assistant Speaker. I come back to a question block in. Let me ask him. How comes you borrowed 3.9 billion kina last year now? Money belong last year stuff where? Now 3.9 billion kina borrowed last year came within last year's money plan, all within all within the deficit, rather the deficit envelope we had in last year's budget. Treasurer, what is last year's deficit? Last year's deficit plan wasn't even beyond 3%. We were within our deficit plan of 2024. Money mixing last year, and we go fill him in this gap. Otherwise, but you don't have to him full 10 million Canadians happy last year, including Suave. So it's a case in point, reference point to government being equal and distributing equal right across. If we plan on raising this plan, a major part of our money plan would be slashed back. That was raised almost 100% as treasury focused. And so me like giving assurance to people of the country. Last year's borrowing was not reckless. It was within our last year's money plan. Stick to this government to see whether by 2027 we come back to a surplus or not. The last time this country saw a surplus budget was when I was education minister. When I was education minister, that's 2010. The last time this country saw a surplus budget. The Honorable Puka Temu was deputy prime minister, and he was in government. It was surplus that time. Since then, we've been running deficit budget up till today. To turn a big economy back to clear water will take some reconstructing the economy. We borrowed cheaply to refinance expensive debt. We're maintaining a fiscal consolidation path to come back to responsible balanced budget by 27. Treasurer's got a clear roadmap that by 2034, whoever is in government will be operating a country that has no debt inside. And Mila giving big belly silo line man Mary place. This government's given more assistance to the economy. Who had removed tax from the small people, those who were earning under 20,000 kina a year? No one has done this since 1975. Logat man rasum takis logat a liglik man Mary limit. The last time you mean not to take a loan in government, abim come 12,500. Maybe abim go along 20,000 today. Small people don't pay tax anymore. In the middle of tough times, we got to get this revenue someplace to make sure we maintain budget support until we hit back a balanced budget in 2027. So we'll give assurance local man Mary. This money opposition leader or deputy opposition leader I'm talking. I think you should be opposition leader now meeting us. I'm talking yeah. I mean nubla money. I'm stop last year budget. This year budget, this year we down in Dina come down. Next year we down in Dina go down more. Until 27, but we come back, the budget we no got Dina in our money plan. So it is within our 5-year fiscal path that Treasurer has established. We didn't borrow any new money. The delayed response for 2024 money plan, apart from that 1.4 billion kina where you mean raising through non-tax revenue, may like also talk also January 10th, where Rascoli hit him, Port Moresby City. Now disaster he came up long rain, tight water long land he long country last year, as well as landslip long Mulitaka, and also had almost 1 billion kina take to the budget last year. So these are ways where we are affecting budget. Please appreciating what we are doing. I'm sure when you hear you would not do something much different from what we are doing, you'll be doing exactly the same, if not worse. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.